St. Claret College, situated in North Bangalore of Karnataka state in India, aims to create an informative and sensitive future citizens through Claretian mission of education.
At St. Claret College, the focus of our education is to form individuals of character and integrity. Individuals would become agents of
St. Claret College, situated in North Bangalore of Karnataka state in India, aims to create an informative and sensitive future citizens through Claretian mission of education.
At St. Claret College, the focus of our education is to form individuals of character and integrity. Individuals would become agents of
St. Claret College, situated in North Bangalore of Karnataka state in India, aims to create an informative and sensitive.
A graduate becomes individuals who are really very creative. And that happens when we provide them with an engaging curriculum. A curriculum that certainly responds to the needs of the industry, responding to the needs of the times.
Claret Group of Institutions caters to a large number of students, more than 9,000 in its campus, enabling them to understand and learn together to become thought leaders.
We believe in education that is inclusive and socially just. So Claret College has been offering education at an affordable cost to help and support everyone's aspirations.
Holistic growth of students is the core of
The education that we offer is faith-based Catholic education. And at the same time, we know the term Catholic literally means universal. And our education is inclusive. Our classrooms certainly represent the diversity of culture, diversity of languages, diversity of belief systems that India represents. And we offer our students the best so that they become global citizens.
Welcome to Claret College, the abode of knowledge.
Good morning and good evening, everyone. We'll start in about a minute. Good morning, everybody in the US, and good evening, everyone in India. And depending on where you are, a very good day for you. Today is the last day of our week-long AI workshop. We are very happy to see how it went this far. And today we will start our session, our day, with one of the most important aspects for most of us here who are either a budding data scientist or trying to change our career and get into data science. For that, we have Nitin Jain from Google New York with us today. He will talk about, from his experiences, some career advice for us. He is currently a senior data scientist at Google. And a little bit of background about Nitin. He did his master's in computational science and engineering from Georgia Tech. Since graduation, he has worked as data scientist at Aetna, Nike, and now Google. I have known Nitin for maybe 9 to 10 years now, and few attributes I have seen that stand out in Nitin are his diligence, hard work, and perseverance. He steered through several challenges throughout his career, and with his perseverance and hard work, he maneuvered through them, which finally took him to Google. We can learn a lot from his career pursuit. So for that, we have Nitin. Nitin, I will hand it over to you. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Chita. I'm glad to be here and nice to see so many faces. Hope you guys are enjoying the conference so far. I'll bring up my slides now.
Nitin, you are on mute. I still cannot hear you, Nitin. While Nathan is figuring it out, I will give a quick update on how today will go on. After Nathan's session, we will have the second and final workshop session by ESA on deep learning development on AWS. Thereafter, we will conclude our workshop with a closing ceremony. And after that, you'll be sent the final feedback form, which will also ask you to summarize your overall experience throughout this workshop event. And thereafter, you will be sent your certificates. So please look forward to today's feedback form and submit them on time.
All right, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, Nathan.
Awesome. Okay. Bring back up my tab.
Yeah, we can see your screen also. Nathan, you are mute again.
Oh, I think it's when I start sharing my screen, it mutes me. Let me check.
That's a new one.
Let's try this again. Apologies, people. Technical issues are always the case here.
Yeah, no worries, Nathan. That's what we were talking on the first day. We are talking about so much advancement and we are still figuring out the basics. You are muted again, Nathan. If it's okay, Nathan, you can send me the PowerPoint and maybe I share it.
Okay, let's try this. Yeah, that's a good idea. I've tried without my headphones as well. Chita, maybe can we try sharing the deck on a separate computer and I can try to see if I can talk through it?
Yeah, we can try that. Like, you have a second computer?
Okay, let me just send the deck link here.
Okay.
So who would be the best person to share the deck with?
I can share it for you. So you can ask me when you have to change the slide, or I can change according to my understanding. So
Okay, so let me
let's take
send
it.
it to you on your email.
Yes, sounds good.
Right, sent.
Okay, I got it. Opening in a second. Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. All right, so let's get started. So basically in my talk today, I would like to share some advice on building a successful career in data science. And I hope you walk away from this talk with some valuable lessons as you continue onward in your data science journey. Next slide, Shada. Can you move to the next slide, Shada? Awesome. So I wanted to just start by extending a warm welcome to all of you to the world of data science and AI. It is an exciting time to be in this field. So whether you are just starting your journey, dipping your toes in, or have spent some time in this space already, I hope you've enjoyed your time learning and growing so far, and it will only get better from here on. Okay, so on to introductions. So my name is Nitin Jain. I'm currently a senior data scientist at Google, based in New York. I've spent about 50% of my career at Google so far. Prior to Google, I have held data scientist roles at Nike and Aetna, and I've spent about 7 years in the field now. My educational background is a bit eclectic, so I started as a mechanical engineering undergrad and found my way to data science in grad school. And when I do need a break from this wonderful world, I also tend to enjoy coffee, photography, and travel. So what's in store for us today? So I wanted to start briefly about my journey in data science. I'll also talk about some of the challenges and lessons learned along the way. Most of the talk will focus on career advice I've found useful for succeeding in data science roles. I also want to mention that the advice here is based on my experience working as an applied data scientist in industry. It might not apply in all situations and roles within the data science ecosystem, but should be broadly applicable to most roles across industries today. All right, so we'll start with my journey in data science. So I really started my data science journey during my master's. It was around 2012 when I enrolled in grad school at Georgia Tech. And I had just finished a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and was somewhat interested in pursuing aerospace engineering in grad school. But I was definitely open to trying out something new. And my major was computational science and engineering. Computational science was a very interesting program where you could customize your coursework to include elements from the physical sciences, engineering, computer science, and statistics. So it was a mix of a lot of different fields. I decided to take a statistics course at my first semester. It was a really challenging course for me since I had no prior background in statistics, but it was also pretty fun. So I enjoyed analyzing data and building models. The prospect of computing combined with data analysis, I think, really sold me on it. And I started to think about what kind of jobs I could pursue with these kinds of skills. Right, next slide. So almost right around this time, this article comes out in the Harvard Business Review. I don't know if you all are familiar with it. The title was super catchy, Data Scientist, the sexiest job of the 21st century. So the title grabbed the attention of many people, including me. So the role description sounded like a perfect match to what I was enjoying thus far. And I just decided to dive right in. So during the course of my graduate degree, I started taking more courses in statistics, machine learning, data visualization, etc., to prepare myself for a career as a data scientist. So my first job was at Aetna. Aetna is a large healthcare insurance provider in the United States. And I was a data scientist on the payment analytics team. It was a central team of about 15 data scientists. And I was responsible for creating machine learning models to detect fraudulent behavior in medical insurance claims and abuse of insurance policies by medical providers. From Aetna, I moved on to Nike. At Nike, it was a different setting. So I was the only data scientist on the emerging markets team, which comprises of 17 countries globally. I was responsible for creating models that would forecast demand for Nike's products, like their shoes, apparel, etc., across the different countries. Finally, at my current role in Google, I am part of a team of 10 data scientists and business analysts in cloud support. I create and manage demand forecasting models for support cases or support tickets. A lot of the work is centered around analyzing customer surveys to understand the pain points our customers are experiencing while using our cloud products. There's also work done on the process optimization side. So that would be maybe using things like discrete optimization models and model simulations. So here I've also tried to highlight some of the skills I have learned in each of these roles. Always learning something new in my role has been a valuable asset for me during my career. And you will also notice here that I have tried to gain diversity in my data science experience by changing both the industry and the skill set over time. So this also kind of shows you the scope of work data scientists in industry tend to work on. Next slide, Chita. Okay, so now let's talk about how to succeed in data science. So the first advice would be to establish a strong foundation early in your career. So in my opinion, getting a university degree in data science gives you a very strong foundation to enter the job market today. Even though employers like Google might not need a degree for some entry-level roles, a degree can be a foot in the door for most other companies. If offline university degrees are not an option, I think online programs today are great options as well. A lot of the top universities in the world have started to introduce master's degrees in data science online, and they provide high quality content and education. MOOCs and bootcamps are very popular among practitioners nowadays. In my opinion, I think they are a great resource to complement your education, but may not provide enough depth of knowledge for practicing data science. So the next piece of advice is to become a T person. So what do I mean by that? So if you look at the visual on the right here, you can see a T-shaped skill map. The horizontal axis indicates the breadth of skills, and the vertical axis indicates the depth of skills. You should aim to have a primary skill that you are an expert in, so you know this in depth, right? So let's say this is deep learning for you. Apart from this, you should also have a broad set of skills that you are familiar with, but may or may not have a lot of depth in right now. So these could be skills like statistics or time series analysis. The goal here is to be at least aware of these different skills so that when it comes time to apply something to a new problem, you can see if these methods might actually apply better. And over time, you can then start to build out some of these additional skills based on your experience or your education. So the third piece of advice would be to understand your profile fit in the data science ecosystem. There are so many different profiles in industry today that are wrapped up under this data science umbrella. One way I like to view these profiles is basically on a scale of business to research or analysis to coding. So you can see here that there are roles at the extremes, like let's say a business analyst. They do a lot of analysis and have a lot of business context, but might not be very coding or research savvy. On the other hand, a research scientist might be extremely research oriented and doesn't really need to think about business decisions so much. And then there's engineering profiles, right? Like ML engineers, machine learning engineers, or data engineers, who might tend to do a lot of coding, but do less analysis. So being aware of some of the subtleties within these profiles can really help you position yourself better in the job market. All right, the fourth piece of advice I've found useful in my career is to accelerate your learning by solving new and different problems. So in my opinion, hands-on problems are the fastest way to learn topics and increase depth of knowledge. There are several tools at your disposal to solve new hands-on problems. If you are in school right now, you can take special projects with professors, try to participate in their research. You can look to solve problems on platforms like Kaggle, right, to learn new skills and enhance current ones. If you want to focus on diversifying in your current workplace, try taking stretch opportunities in your current role. So maybe work part-time with another team. So at Google, we have this concept of a 20% project where you can spend 20% of your time working with another team whose work you are interested in and spend 80% of your time in your regular role. And actually, fun fact, 20% projects is like Gmail was actually one of the 20% projects started by a Googler. Talk about being wildly successful. And finally, try a new industry to work on different problems. One advantage of being in data science is that the roles and the skills transfer very easily between industries. You need data science in healthcare, supply chain, marketing, digital media, and so many other industries. Take advantage of that fact early in your career. So the fifth piece of advice I'd give you is context is king in data science. You should always try to keep practical significance in mind when working on business problems in industry. So for example, when creating models or running experiments, you might need to understand what is the minimum change we want to capture that is useful to the business. So if you're launching a new forecast model and it is 5% more accurate than the current forecast model, what does that 5% accuracy mean to the users of the forecast? Is that enough of an improvement to go through the cost of an entire release cycle? The second point is if something looks too good in your results, it is likely not true. So in most established business problems, achieving significantly better results from the current benchmark is very unlikely. So for example, if the spam classification accuracy in Gmail is like 85%, and we come up with a model where the accuracy is 98%, it is likely that there is something wrong with our configuration, or we have some kind of data leakage in our model. And finally, I would say be a data skeptic. A lot of the errors in data science models tend to happen due to misinterpreted data or incorrect data. Always spend time preparing your data correctly. All right, and the final piece of advice I want to share with you is to find your tribe in data science. Data science is a big world with lots of big ideas. Brainstorming and discussing ideas with other individuals in your field helps a lot. Early in your career, look for roles where you will work in a team. You can learn a lot from your teammates. Find mentors at work or online who can help guide you through your career. Good mentors can be a game changer for your career trajectory. Attend conferences, workshops, and meetups to build a community. Workshops like these allow you to connect with so many people. Try to keep that network going. And finally, become a mentor yourself at some point. Speak at conferences, teach new data science people, and give back to the community. All right, so time to wrap up. Data science has seen massive growth in recent years, and there are no signs of slowdown. It is an exciting field with a massive footprint across all industries. There is something for everyone here. If you want to be a generalist, you can be a generalist. If you want to specialize in a very specific domain, you can do that as well. Make sure you establish a solid foundation early on. Establishing a strong foundation early would help in a seamless transition to industry. Broaden your horizons by becoming what we call the T person. Target a specific profile fit if you can, and align your experience around it. This would help clearly differentiate you from other generic profiles and resumes. Accelerate your learning with solving different hands-on problems. You have some amazing resources online like Kaggle or MOOCs to help you do this. Context is king in data science. Always keep track of business significance. And finally, find your tribe in data science to discuss ideas with, get mentorship from, and give back to. And most important of all, don't forget to have fun along the way. Thank you.
That was an amazing presentation, Nathan. Thank you so much. I was making notes while I was handling the PowerPoint, so sometimes I was lagged. I really love the few things such as the profile fit chart that you created, the way you divided the areas in data science as more business, more coding, more research versus more analysis, and the way you divided different roles along that. That's really valuable. Another thing that you said was solve problems. Solving problems is the fastest way to learn data science. This is very true. This also goes back to what we discussed on the second day of this workshop, that how to learn data science, start from a problem. So completely agree with you. Context is king. I have a personal experience when I made something which was looking exceptionally good and it was actually wrong. I was on cloud 9 when I saw accuracy to shoot up so high, and I thought I'm genius, only to know that there was a data leak. I've been there. You are absolutely correct. And mentors are very good. You are right. They are many times a game changer. And one thing I'll add to everything you said, Nathan, is improvise. Sometimes you have to improvise. And I'm saying this from the example today. Just a little while ago, when things were not working, we improvised and we worked together to share PowerPoint on a different computer and PowerPoint. Same thing will happen in your career also. Things may not go as planned sometimes. So just improvise as it comes. Thank you so much, Nitin. I'll see if we have any questions. Otherwise, we are out of time, so we can move on to the next session as well. There's one question we can take, Nitin. This is, I think, from someone from Bioinformatics. The question is, how would a Bioinformatics student could enter the data science world?
Yeah, definitely. So I think like bioinformatics as a field, in my view, is actually a very good way to prepare for data science because it is a quantitative field. You are learning programming, hopefully, right? So I would say try to become more familiar with the programming skill set because that's going to help you a lot. And then try to talk to people, attend the workshops like these, where you get exposure on what kind of methods people use in data science, solve problems on Kaggle, improve your existing skill sets, and that should lead you to a successful data science career.
Exactly, sir. Thank you so much, Nitin. Thank you so much for coming here today and giving your talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chita. Nice seeing everyone.
Thank you. All right, participants, we will take a few minutes break and we will be back at 7:05 p.m. India time and 8:35 a.m. EST. At that time, we will have our workshop speaker, Esa Vilkama, continue his session from yesterday on deep learning on AWS. So back in about 3 minutes. See you.
St. Claret College, situated in North Bangalore of Karnataka state in India, aims to create an informative and sensitive future citizens through Claretian mission of education.
At St. Claret College, the focus of our education is to form individuals of character and integrity. Individuals who would become agents of social change and transformation. And for that to happen, we will certainly provide our students well-rounded education.
Situated on a serene and picturesque campus in the Garden City, Bangalore, we provide world-class state-of-art infrastructure and facilities to our students.
Our graduates become critical thinkers. Our graduate becomes individuals who are really very, very creative. And that happens when we provide them with an engaging curriculum. A curriculum that certainly responds to the needs of the industry, responding to the needs of the times.
Claret Group of Institutions caters to a large number of students, more than 9,000 in its campus, enabling them to understand and learn together to become thought leaders.
We believe in education that is inclusive and socially just. So Claret College has been offering education at an affordable cost to help and support everyone's aspirations.
Holistic growth of students is the core of our educational mission.
The education that we offer is faith-based Catholic education. And at the same time, we know the term Catholic literally means universal. And our education is inclusive. Our classrooms certainly represent the diversity of culture, diversity of languages, diversity of belief systems that India represents. And we offer our students the best so that they become global citizens.
Welcome to Claret College, the abode of knowledge.
We are back. Essa with us today. Essa, I'll hand it over to you, and we look forward to a deeper dive on AWS development on AWS. And Essa, one more thing, one question we had on YouTube yesterday, which we could not take up on Zoom, was what is the difference between Google Collab and Sagemaker? So you can answer it now or later during the session, but just letting you know there's one question on Google Collab versus Sagemaker.
Yeah, again, I do not know Collab, so maybe somebody else could answer the question. So,
okay. So I'll give a quick explanation of the main difference between Google Collab and Sagemaker. The equivalent of Google Collab on AWS is what Essa was showing as Jupyter Notebook. So Google Collab is simply a Jupyter Notebook, and Sagemaker is much more than that, which we learned today. So yeah, that will help us answer the question.
well, thank you very much. Yes. So good morning, good evening from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm very, very happy to be back at this great conference. It has been really interesting and exciting. So let me share my screen here. Can you see my PowerPoint slide?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll continue now from yesterday. So yesterday we discussed some basic comments or concepts and some generic information about cloud computing, AWS, Salesmaker, and Jupyter Notebooks. And so today we'll get a little bit deeper into AWS Sagemaker. So we'll talk about some of these tools or capabilities that make up Sagemaker. So again, I want to remind again that Sagemaker is very deep topic, is very powerful and rich system. So we have time only a few things here now. So hopefully this will create interest for you to learn more about it. So I'll picked a few capabilities. First is Clarify. Again, that was how do you detect bias in your data models. Model tuning, very important. Debugger, and this is especially for those who know algorithms very well. And then Sagemaker Studio. See, this is quite new capability from AWS, and within Studio, now there are new capabilities. There are also notebooks also in Studio, but then we have some very powerful capabilities like Jumpstart, Data Wrangler, that's for data pre-processing, And there is Autopilot, the ultimate no-code machine learning. So this is kind of the agenda now for this session. So just kind of yesterday, we talked about this Sagemaker and what it is. Again, so it's a fully managed cloud-based machine learning platform from AWS. And it's pretty new, only about 4 years old, launched November 2017. And as remember, emphasize this Sagemaker is only part of AWS. So Amazon Web Services has many, many other services and products in it. So this is just part of overall AWS, but that's kind of the topic for today. So what can we do with Sagemaker? So basically it automates a lot of things. It gives us a lot of tools to do machine learning. As you know, machine learning is not easy and simple. It can be messy, it can be time consuming, it's a lot of moving parts. So this kind of helps us. It brings all the required tools in one place, and we can develop machine learning, deep learning products very quickly into cloud, powered by AWS. So I think I recommend taking advantage of this Sagemaker. So, and there is a lot of these AWS gives some free tier products. So hopefully some of you had a chance to set up your own AWS account. But again, if you get into it, you can do it freely and for quite a long time. And after that, again, remember, you only pay for what you use. And again, yeah, yesterday we saw this one. This is the main control panel dashboard for Amazon Sagemaker. And you can see that a lot of these tools now, they're in one place. So it's kind of one shop, one place to go for everything you need, basically, to complete end-to-end machine learning, all the way from data import, preparation, all the way to ultimate deploy and management. And even after that, you can even do model monitoring even after the model has been deployed. So there's a lot of stuff here now, a lot of stuff to learn. And again, as yesterday I mentioned, I recommend to learn these. A lot of great YouTube videos available. There are many third-party AWS training companies, training videos. And one good way was to get AWS certified. It's a very, very good way to learn. They are very difficult exams. So once you pass them, it's a great for your career. So, okay, so I'll talk just some of these capabilities. We do not have time to go to all of these, but so I picked few. First, Salesmaker Clarify. This is very, very new, exciting new capability, new product within Sagemaker. So what can Clarify do? So here again, it's one of these Sagemaker early on. You can use Clarify early on and also after modeling. You can use it in different phases. Okay, so this Clarify gives us more visibility into our training data. So we can find, detect bias or limit the bias during data preparation, after modeling, and also even your deployed model. And second, so first is that we can detect bias. And secondly, we can explain predictions. Those are kind of same thing. So what is a bias? So bias means that our data set maybe is imbalanced. So we don't have enough data. So, and because we want to avoid or of course limit this bias, sometimes the bias might be real, and sometimes the bias might come from lack of data, so that we don't have enough data. Let's say that in terms of age, that we don't have enough data from older people, and that's why it's imbalanced. But this Clarify can detect that. Is this bias intentional? Hopefully not. Hopefully never intentional, but or is it just lack of data, this imbalance? So again, this bias can result from the data and also from algorithm. So you can see that this is very, very new product, about only 1 year old. As I mentioned yesterday, AWS launches new products. Seems like all the time they announce some new products. So it's important to kind of keep up with all these latest advancements and start using them as soon as possible. And again, so we understand the importance of this bias now. Nowadays, it's becoming more and more critical now that because a lot of stuff has been automated. I think a lot of these hiring process, because employers get lots of applications, and maybe the computers, some algorithms do the initial reviewing of resumes, for example, or bank credit applications, for example, might be handled by algorithms. So this is becoming important now. Some regulators, authorities, governments are kind of demanding to know that your model is not discriminating. So you must be ready to explain why your model predicts the way it does. So this is very important topic, and nice to have this capability. And this is very deep topic. This is based on some statistics. I think very advanced statistics, the way this was written. Okay, so I mentioned also that secondary is also this importance, explaining which inputs or features are most important to explain your prediction, and it provides some important graphs that help you explain. And maybe sometimes you have to explain your stakeholders, your customers, why the model predicts the way it does. So it is explainability and avoiding bias. So very important factors. So again, as yesterday I mentioned, luckily AWS SageMaker comes with maybe hundreds of full notebooks, and those are available. Remember, in this notebook instance, you go there and you find these examples, and you can freely copy them. You can copy those into your own notebook instance. So I'm going to now show you, switch this context now here. We can share. Okay. Can you see this, Jupiter?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So what I did here is, so I copied over some of these ready notebooks, and I modified them a little bit. And here is the one I want to kind of quickly show you here. Okay, so this is a notebook I copied. It's a very comprehensive notebook. Just to idea is that you don't have to now learn this one. Again, the whole idea for this morning's presentation is to understand what these tools can do for you. How can they help you? Not learning these details. You can always go back and review these notebooks here. So again, overview here, how the Sagemaker can help you. And this Clarify, again, helps improve your machine learning models by detecting potential bias and helping explain how these models make predictions. So again, this fairness and explainability is very important. So enabling AW customers to build trustworthy and understandable machine learning. You can build trust with your customers with this tool. So again, this notebook has a lot of stuff into it. So again, I don't go into details. You can see this is the familiar loading all the libraries. This is just kind of typical Python here now, downloading data. And this is some publicly available data set. By the way, there are many available data repositories. There are different websites. There are a lot of data sets available for testing and simulation. One is UCI, University of California. Irvine is a very famous data repository. I use that quite a bit, but there are also other publicly available repositories for well-known data set to test your models and learn. Okay, so there's a lot of information here now. So we do some uploading data, some pre-processing, very, very important here. And so on, this goes on and on here. So booster here, all right, here, remember now, I remember this one now. So this example did not have it, but I added there. This is, I guess I like to say money. Remember this part train, don't forget it. So often it's not there, few lines of code, you can save maybe a lot of money. So this SPA training, we talked about that yesterday. So SPA training was that you can utilize any idle time AWS dataset might have occasionally. Because it's idle, you can grab it at a heavily discounted charge or price. But then you must expect some interruptions. But if your machine learning is not time critical, you tolerate some delays, so use it. Okay, so on some training here, let's see how much money I save. Okay, about 54% savings, pretty nice. Especially if this would be 2-day long training. Of course, it's only a few cents if it's on a few minutes, so it's kind of relative, but still. Pipelines, we don't talk about much about it, but you can, once you get these notebooks, get the whole end-to-end process, you can kind of save it and you can kind of rerun things without always redoing. So these pipelines are kind of end-to-end script, so to speak. Okay, so this goes on here. In this case, they use XGBoost model. That's very, very well known. It's not deep learning model, but very powerful, often used. Then inference here, and now we get to Clarify now. Okay, so you can again see here that only a few lines of code. Obviously, again, you import the library. So Python has these SDKs, APIs, libraries. You just bring it in, and then you can start using Clarify. And then it provides a lot of stuff here. Now, I'm not expert on this one now. I want to learn more about it. Again, this is a very deep topic. There must be some PhD statistician work on this one because it gets pretty complex here. So these explanations here, explaining again the feature importance here. Very interesting plots here, and then calculate some bias metrics here. So very impressive. And again, remember always delete your endpoints, delete your kernels. Don't let them running overnight even or for the week. So again, I encourage you to, once you get your, hopefully you are able to set up your AWS account. So please use these examples. That's why they are there. Find something that's close to your problem. Start with that. So you don't have to start from scratch. You get big jump start right away for your machine learning problem. So, okay, so I'll go back to my, let's see. Okay, hopefully you can now see this PowerPoint. So I'll be going back and forth quite a bit.
It's
Okay.
a PowerPoint has not come up yet.
Not
We are
yet.
still seeing Jupyter. Yeah, now it is there. Maybe there.
Okay. Another one. This is very important as well. Automatic model tuning, or we could say optimization. This is something every machine learning practitioner always faces. Model tuning. Okay, so luckily, again, AWS comes to rescue. So AWS SageMaker has this automatic model tuning, and this is great stuff as well. So again, so as you know, every model, we could say, has something called parameters. So there are two types of parameters. Today we'll talk about so-called hyperparameters. So, and always the big question is now, what values should I use to set for hyperparameters? So often we had to put some kind of range. Of course, we can use fixed values, but it's maybe very lucky if we hit the correct combination of fixed values. We want to give some value range for each hyperparameters. And then we let this SageMaker find the best combination of hyperparameters within those ranges. Now, if you have maybe five parameters and they all have a pretty wide range, you can imagine the number of combination make up exponentially. So it becomes humanly impossible to find. So there's no way humans can compete anymore with computers to automatically optimize. So there's two strategies now, search methods. Some is random and another was Bayesian. So we'll talk about that. But before that, again, about this, again, parameters now. This is a very important concept. So again, hyperparameter. It's kind of funny name. Hyperparameter is a parameter whose value is used to control the learning process. Again, you set these values before you learning. So before you hit the run, you have to set these values. For example, maybe the parameters is the number of layers, number of nodes in your layer, could be what kind of activation function you use, like is it ReLU or sigmoidal or hyperbolic tangent, learning rate, very important, step size, and maybe many others. So these are parameters that are fixed for the duration of the modeling. So those are the ones that will have a big influence now on how the model is going to go. So again, this is, so how do you know what values I should set? And again, then this hyperparameter tuning optimization, it will help you tremendously. We also have other parameters. We could call these trainable parameters. So these parameters are learned during training. So like, again, this is these kind of feed-forward networks. One example is like these connection weights or coefficients. So those are learned, and these are kind of, as the learning goes on, these parameters are being continuously updated. For example, there's a very well-known like called back propagation. It's kind of error correction. This back propagation method continuously adjusts these connection weights to minimize the error in supervised training. So it's trying to use these gradients, and so these parameters are being adjusted during the training, and then eventually when machine learning converges, and then these parameters get the final values. So this is very important to kind of separate these two types of parameters. But today we'll talk about now these hyperparameters. These other parameters, those are kind of internals for each algorithm. So, okay, so random search. So a random search is you basically pick randomly a value from the range of its parameters. So, and this is better than, let's say that systematically we would use every combination of these parameter values. So every partial combination, that would have a huge number of combinations. It would grow exponentially. Doing randomly is better. You get better coverage of the search space. So it's pretty simple. Once I even wrote my own random optimization program myself. So it's pretty simple. And one benefit here is that you can use multiple computers because they are not dependent on each other now. So you can have maybe 10 computers running different combinations in trying to find the best possible combination to minimize some kind of error or optimize some kind of criteria. So it's simple, it works sometimes, and maybe sometimes not. Another one is a Bayesian. This is a more complex, this interesting method because it turns this modeling into kind of regression problem. Instead of using original inputs, you might have 20 inputs. Now we use these hyperparameters as inputs. So it's like a surrogate model, so to speak. So now we are modeling, trying to use best possible these hyperparameters. Those are now inputs, and we try to optimize that. So this is very interesting way to do it. So, and again, optimization is very deep technology discipline in itself. So this is very deep, but very interesting technology. There's a lot of different optimization methods available. Again, there's a lot of science goes into it. But here are these two Sagemaker provides, so random and Bayesian. Again, so there are a lot of you can see here the kind of category of our examples here. Hyperparameter tuning. See, there's a lot of these examples, free examples, notebooks you can provide. So I'm going to now switch now back now here now. Okay, go here. So let's me quit that one here. Go back to my, okay, let me go here. So this is again my Jupyter notebook instance, and you can see here, can you see the Jupyter again?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So now I have here, here's my again. So again, I did not write this, so I copied this over. So let me see what it look like. Okay, so this is a kind of ready to go notebook for automatic training. In this case, it is multi-class image classification task. So again, you can see these examples. There are a lot of comments, a lot of explanations. This is a great way to learn, to go through these notebooks. Maybe you can do one notebook a day, for example, to go through this, and you learn so much. So here we can see here that often what happens here we retrieve. This is a algorithm. This is based on deep learning. This is image classification algorithm built in. So this comes with Sagemaker, is ready to go. You don't have to write it. It's there. You just have to pick it up, this algorithm. Again, and then all the usual stuff. Again, there is some, this is again public available free data set, 30,000 images. And then we start downloading. Again, here it is. Okay, here we set hyperparameter tuning job. And look, you can see a lot of hyperparameters, number of layers, epochs, very important. Epochs means how many times we recycle the data. So there's a lot of these iterations or cycles we have to go through. A lot of hyperparameters. Of course, we don't have to, we can use some fixed values as well. But some of these critical values, again, remember, I remember this one here. Put spot training on a few lines of code, why not? So here is some hyperparameters here. And here we can see, here we set fixed values. So these hyperparameters, we just set these values as they're like epochs 10. So, but some of these critical variables, so we give some ranges like learning rate. So between 0.0001 and 1.0, batch size 16, these are these min-max, and 4 different optimization techniques. So these are now these ranges. And again, now Sagemaker will automatically go through a lot of combinations of these, trying to optimize the accuracies. Then you have to give a metric to use, and so on. And then you launch them. There was warning 2 hours yesterday. I started this one and it didn't end. I mean, I waited for a few hours. You can see what happened. And then actually, for some reason, Sagemaker kind of quit or something happened. So I was unable to show the results, but so I tried anyway. So then it would show you these best parameter values. So it would then show you what those values are. So after tuning, it will show you the top 5 performing hyperparameters. So then you can get the analysis here and get those values. So again, so here's one example here. What usually happens when you run it, you get these little dots. You get another, you keep adding more and more dots until it's done. So you can see that it's progressing. So if these dots stop, you know that something went wrong now. And I don't know what happened yesterday, but I ran it for a few hours. Wasn't too expensive. A few hours is not so much money. Okay. So let me again go back to here. PowerPoint. So any questions so far?
Yes, yes. One quick question we have, which is, can these, so you are using some ready-to-use notebooks. So the data sets you're using there, are they public data sets that anyone can use?
Correct. Very good question. Very good. As I mentioned, these notebooks, they use these publicly available notebooks. So I really recommend, please go and get these. There are many different, I mentioned this, I think it's called URI, University of California at Irvine. They have very well-known website for lots and lots of data set for regression classification. Is maybe the most famous data repository. I think Kaggle, you might know what Kaggle is. They have, I think, their own data repository. And I think the previous speaker mentioned this Kaggle competition. By all means, that's a great way to learn to attend these. These are worldwide competitions. This Kaggle gives some kind of task, problem, and data set, and then it's free. Anybody can attend this competition. Competition might last for 6 months, and there may be thousands of competitors. So, and goal is to who can create a model with the best results or lowest error rates. So I would recommend, again, become Kaggle member, just join it. It's great. And again, they have a lot of data set. And I think Microsoft, Google. So again, these are all publicly free, open, non-confidential. So that's kind of one difficulty when you work for a corporation. All the data is usually always confidential, cannot share it. But again, yeah, these are good question. There are lots of them available.
Yeah, Dr. Shubhajit also shared the UCI public data set link that Esa just mentioned on the Zoom chat.
Thank you. Yeah, that's maybe the most common use, I think. And it has those data sets, they are very well, they are documented. All the information is there, all the metadata is there. It explains what the data is. And I think people can even donate. They can donate they can contribute to the library. So it keeps growing. So thanks a lot. So,
and one more thing is, yeah, so just a quick note and then one other question. I really like the word you used to describe epochs. You said how many times we recycle the data. I never said like that or thought like that, but it's a very nice way of putting it.
Sure, thank you. Okay, let's go on. Debugger. I guess everybody knows debugging. This is very, very common in software development. I guess every software tool have a debugger. So we know that debugger, we can stop the software at a certain line, and then we can see what the values are. We all use debugging in software development. So this is kind of similar now. So again, that's kind of usually during the training phase, your debugger. Again, the idea is this one. Again, this is, again, I think very advanced. So this is, again, great job by AWS. I know I'm biased because that's the only one I know. But this is going to be huge time saver. The idea is that while you are running, so you start this training job, and maybe takes a long time. Let's say that you have 100,000 images and you are classify. It will take some time, or you have a million data points. So could be a long time, maybe a few hours. It will crunch away. So what you can do, you can, while you are running, you can monitor it and you can capture real time. some of these training metrics. For example, I mentioned these connection weights. You can monitor what's going on. You can monitor learning rate. You can kind of get these algorithm details. You can monitor how they are doing. And if something goes wrong, let's say that you're some kind of vanishing gradient, or some things are diverging, exploding, something happens, or your data, your error is not decreasing anymore, it's kind of stuck, you can immediately find out and you can stop training. So why to continue if something's going on? So you can automatically stop it. So I think it's a great idea. Obviously, this requires that you understand the model. So this is not, how could I say, for, so again, what I mean that you have to know enough about these algorithms to use this. So this is what happens here now. So again, while training is running, so simultaneously you can monitor it. So the way it does it, it's at certain intervals, you set the interval, how frequently Sagemaker takes a look at your modeling process. So internal state of the model. So it's all the parameters, these are not hyperparameters. Now these are these internal trainable parameters like connection weights, and those are saved in S3. So they are called tensors, training tensors. So it's kind of fancy name, but they're basically multi-dimensional arrays. So it takes like a picture of your modeling process inside, and those are saved. Then you can have these rules. So there's a lot of these built-in rules. For example, we talk about Clarify. You can have rules that imbalance. Let's say that you can set the rule that please tell me if there's a real imbalance, or does the imbalance, does it affect my model? So does it really mean real bias or not? So that's a built-in rule. You just specify it, that kind of, right here, you can see here rule class imbalance. So this is built in. So, and these rules are fired and they are checked at certain intervals. And if the rule fires, you get the result, you get the alarm, okay, this fire rule now, okay, something went wrong. Or you can have even custom rules. So you can specify what kind of rule I want. So I think this is very, very powerful, especially for, again, those more serious or people who know this special algorithm and they intimately know how it goes, so they can really do a great job here. And again, a lot of stuff here. So this is, you don't see the title, but there's a lot of stuff here. So let me again go back into this here. Okay, let me close the earlier one. Again, so in this ways now, so it's here again. So this again, I picked this up. So this is debugger now. So this is using now TensorFlow and Keras, this debugger here. So there's a special library. Again, PIP. So this is a Python installation package. PIP is used often. It's amazing how this PIP, you can. I've been all wondering how does it find all these software tools, but it does somehow. The PIP is very powerful. You can install different libraries, different stuff. So again, here's now here we start setting up debugger here. So again, from this library, we import some capabilities here now. You can see here, this is that, again, not a lot of code. you use these libraries again and setting up estimator here. Here you can see there's like interval here. You can specify these how often you want to save the internal state of your your modeling parameters. And here again, now that we set it up, this estimator means that we are setting up our, before we start modeling, we set it up. We have to specify like how many train instances, what's the instance. So this is that, remember, the computer you'll be using. And base name, some security, some permissions here, and here it is. So it's kind of hooks, funny name. They call them debugger hooks. So you kind of embed your debugging rules in this modeling process. But again, a few lines of code. And of course, I added spot training there as usual. So there we go then. And then you start. You often the fit means that now we start training. When you fit you fit model to your data. So you can see here again, I don't expect you to memorize this stuff. It's all there. Go out and copy. It's free. You can copy and paste into your own notebook this. And here's the result here. And now you can see here some of these messages coming out. Okay, here's some vanishing gradient rule here in progress here, in progress. Looks like there haven't been any problems, at least not yet. So it's kind of giving you as the modeling goes on, you can kind of monitor, you can watch what's going on. And if something happens, you'll get alarm. And then you can you can then stop this modeling, then you can go back and you might adjust some hyperparameters. You figure out, okay, this hyperparameter wasn't really good. Let's try something else, and then you can restart. So this is really for serious practitioners. I think it's a great tool. You can also do afterwards. You can all these tensors. Again, tensor means that it's a collection of all these internal parameters. You can go later on and analyze what happened. You can do like, pre-modeling analysis, then what happened. So great stuff. Okay, so let me go again. I guess I'm learning now how to do this sharing now back and forth. Okay, so this is us. Okay, Studio. Any questions now? Now we'll kind of switch gears a little bit. So anything?
We have a question, but
yes.
We'll take that at the end because it's about a different aspect of technology. So please continue.
Okay, very good. Studio. So why isn't Sagemaker good enough? I guess AWS came out with even better IDE. So this is that interactive development environment. So what is Studio? Okay, so here is how to get into it. So this is that, how could I say, the standard Sagemaker. I think it's a great tool already, but it's getting better now. So here is the where you get into Studio. If you set up your AWS account, there's a little setup here. You have to configure the Studio. It's kind of pretty quick, but you have to. There's a little setup to go. So, and here it looks like this. So you can do, I think, everything you did in Sagemaker, you can do also in Studio, because in Studio we can run also notebooks. So I would say that Studio brought some additional new capabilities over the standard Sagemaker. And obviously, because it's available, this is, I guess, based to use. Sometimes you want to go back. Sometimes there's still something I think you have to go back to Sagemaker. There may be a few things. Maybe I haven't learned how to do it in Studio yet, but okay. So what is Studio now? So this is, we can say this is fully integrated, fully managed, fully integrated IDE machine learning. And this is, again, only 2 years old. So this is really new stuff, kind of very, I think, leading edge now. Again, I'm biased. I don't know. I suppose there are other Collab and others that have this too. So this is the idea now that this gives you a unified visual interface. So now the difference is here that, let's go back here now. Sagemaker, if you can use these, all the tools in one place, but once you start one tool, it will be in its own window. So they are in separate window. But now in Studio, all these will be in the same window under different tabs. So it's very convenient. You don't have to switch windows. You can say same window, you just add another tab and have completely different tool in it. It's very powerful, makes it easier to do it. Like, as you know, you'll see that very soon, what I mean here. So this is maybe just again the state of the art. Again, idea is to make your job faster, easier, more powerful. But as I mentioned, in addition to kind of reconfiguring this, putting everything in one window now, it also AWS added some brand new capabilities that did not exist before. So we'll talk about those now. Again, of course, these notebooks are also there. So you can use notebooks like yesterday we talked about in Sagemaker, but this is another way. You can use notebooks also in Studio. So again, this is again the Studio dashboard. And here's the notebooks how. And this is it's recommended that you would use notebooks in Studio instead of Sagemaker. And there's some benefits they list here. And one thing here is that remember that yesterday how we configured this notebook instance. And remember, instance, you can think it's a piece of computer hardware. It's given to you, you allocate it for your use. That's what instance means. So if you are in Sagemaker, you have to configure it. There's some configuration. You have to go through the configuration process. Here, it's much easier. It's basically one click and you got it. So here you don't have to worry about any instances here. You don't have to worry about. There's a few you can do some selections, but it's much faster. It's easier, kind of one click. That's kind of the mode you'll see, that one click or no click solutions in Studio. So let me again go to that live demo here. Okay, let's go out of here. Okay, so here there's a lot of stuff. You can see here how much stuff there is here now set up here. All these tabs here, they're very different stuff in these tabs here. A lot of stuff here. Let me get the main window here now, Studio window. Okay, so this is the main window here. And here it is, notebook here. Notice now, it doesn't talk about instance now. So we can basically, now there's a few selections. Actually was one click. You notice one click. I got a notebook now. I didn't have to worry about any instances. This notebook computer was automatically allocated for you. So let me get this out of the way. If you want to, okay, this is notebook as usual. So you can do the same. Yesterday we went through this notebook stuff, and then you can run it like, yeah, it's a notebook. Yesterday we went through some of these notebook abilities, but so, and it automatically allocated you this kind of computer. You can go and change that if you want to. There's a few choices here. I guess there are less choices than only it gives you 4. Or you can change your, if you don't like the kernel, you can change that too, but you don't have to. Often this is kind of often we just use the basic Python 3 data science is usually the good enough, I guess. But if sometimes, but you can also get these GPU optimized if you're very how could I say, very demanding job, very compute intensive, some high performance stuff. You can go and pick what you want here, the kind of the kernel, what you want. Is it optimized for maybe TensorFlow, PyTorch, MXNet, and so on? But often this is kind of the default. So as you saw now here that it was one click. You got a notebook here, ready to go. And if you want to, you can pick up different, if you need more power, you can go and get different computer, get some larger computer. Remember the naming convention here, you get the size large here, different compute optimized accelerated computer and 16 gigabyte. So you can have some memory, how much you want here. But anyway, so this is kind of the notebook. So yesterday we went to notebooks. We don't really, today we don't talk much about notebook, but I do recommend that learn the notebook well. It has a lot of features, a lot of commands. A lot of these are even some shortcuts, key sequences. The reason it's good to learn that because then you can code faster. You can do very fast coding once you understand this notebook, and of course Python or other language. So, okay, let's go back again to PowerPoint here. Okay, so that was the notebook. So again, the main difference between Studio and the standard Sagemaker is only one click only, very fast. You can right away start, automatically allocates the instance, the computer. So, and this is we went through already earlier. Okay, then I gonna switch gears. Any questions before I go to this next big topic?
No, please go ahead.
Okay, data pre-processing, extremely important. We could argue that this is the most important, one of the most, there's even more important. I'll get to that later, but this is one of those critical things, data pre-processing. Your data must be good. So this is very important. So the idea is that once you get the data set, so you ultimately you have to transform it into, how could I say, optimal presentation for the model. So once you commit, once you hit the run button, there's nothing else you can do. Modeling is just number crunching. The model algorithm just does what it needs to done. So this is the critical now. How could you model it? So this is, I know it's common sense, but I want to emphasize again. And data preparation, there's a lot of stuff you can do. You can kind of, obviously, first is always data visualization. Once you get data, you visualize that. And of course, Python, it has great libraries like matplotlib, Seaborn library. Again, I recommend take a look at these Python libraries. They are just amazing what kind of visualization you can do. The visualization is important, so you kind of you understand what the data is all about. One tool I used a lot was called Spotfire, Spotfire. I recommend take a look at it. I use that all the time at 3M, this Spotfire tool. But there's many others. So data, I kind of forgot to mention, I put in the slide is data visualization. So after visualizing data, you understand the data, then you can start transforming it. So, and a lot of transforming. So there you have to deal with missing data. You have to deal with outliers. Outliers are not always wrong. It may be real data. You have to deal with scaling, code encoding. You have to think about it, dimension reduction. Remember now, like in neural networks, I guess at least these all classical networks, the rule always was minimize the number of these dimensions, because if you add one input, one feature, the requirement for data goes up exponentially if you want same data density. So if you can drop any input, it really helps you. It helps the algorithm, because so that's kind of the dimensional reduction. Again, there's different techniques for that. You can use maybe I guess PCA would be one, principal component analysis. That's kind of does it in different. I don't really like that PCA, because these principal components, they are not real physical variables. Because I'm an engineer, I'm used to learning manufacturing. I like to have a real inputs, but it is a good one for many purposes. There are other methods as well. Data cleaning, transformations, feature engineering, a lot of stuff. Very important. And again, everybody knows this GIGO kind of expression, garbage in, garbage out. So the quality of the model is determining the quality of the input data. The best algorithm in the world cannot help you if data is bad. I guess that's common sense. Again, so how to do that? How to do data pre-processing? Of course, you can write your own Python code. You can write your own code from scratch if you want to. I would use libraries. And again, there are different libraries you can use. And then again, this studio now, this Sagemaker Studio now introduced something called Data Wrangler. And I'll give you a demo about what this wrangling is, kind of funny term. So Data Wrangler. And the ultimate is this AutoML, autopilot. So this and at the end we'll talk about this auto machine learning. It's no code machine learning, and it even does automated pre-processing. So there's different ways of doing this. So let's talk about now the Data Wrangler. So again, very, very new stuff. It's only 1 year old. It was launched last year, I think December. I mentioned yesterday that often new products are launched at this huge AWS reInvent conference in Las Vegas. So that's kind of their main showcase, where the AWS comes out with these new product announcements. And so I think that was launched again in December, I think, last year. And this really accelerates data pre-processing, and you will see soon. I'll give you a demo, and you can appreciate what it does. So it's a tool for you, so you can again automate a lot of this stuff. It brings lots and lots of these different pre-processing tools into one place. So again, simplifies, it speeds up. data processing, import, analysis, visualization, transformation, all this stuff we mentioned before. It has over 300 built-in data transformation. So think about that. I mean, it will take a long time to find these and get those in one place. And this is amazing, this last one. It estimates the model accuracy. So this is very interesting concept. So even during pre-processing, we can have a quick preview. So it gives you quick model even before we start modeling. It's kind of interesting. So we do some pre-modeling, and I'll show you that one. But basically, idea is that as you pre-process data, you using this quick tool, you can get idea. Okay, does my pre-processing have impact on my ultimate model even before you model? So it gives you not precise model, but it gives you idea that, again, does my pre-process have impact or not on model accuracy? So we'll talk about this quick modeling. So it's again, it's a very, very interesting concept, this quickly estimate this model accuracy. Okay, let's see. Again, mention these pipelines, and very interesting because once you go through Data Wrangler, the Sagemaker, whatever you do, it saves that. And then you can save the whole pre-processing script, so to speak, kind of save it into these pipelines, workflows, then you can reuse it later on and even save these features. So, okay, so, okay, let me give you a demo. Okay, let me give you a demo. So, let's see, here it is. So actually, I did it earlier already. So again, to make this presentation faster, but you have to start a new data flow. If you go File, something on, you can see here, Data Wrangler flow. So data flows, but that's done already. So then first thing you do, you import your data. So it's, you have connection to S3, remember? This is that data storage that machine learn. Usually, always machine learning, we use S3 for inputs, outputs for model artifacts. That's the kind of the place to put your data, S3. And also Athena, and I think there are also other data sources you can connect to it. So this means that now we are pulling data ready to go. So that is prepared now. So this is, I already earlier, you get this kind of visual presentation here now, kind of data network. What you can do here, you can actually have multiple data sets. You can combine data sets. You can have pretty complicated visualization of your data pre-processing. But I don't go into that one now, but just show some of these capabilities here. So I already imported data from S3, and now there's a lot of possibilities here. So data is, again, this is very well-known Titanic data set, often used. So this is that shipwreck, early 1900s. So that's used a lot, again, public data sets. So let's go here. So again, you can edit data types, transform analysis. Again, I mentioned you can join different data sets, concatenate. So let's do first this analysis here. Okay, so here we have, so you can do visualization also in Data Wrangler, but that's not really what it's meant for, data analysis. So there are much better tools for that purpose, but it does have some capabilities. You can do, let's say, a quick table summary here, like this. Let's see here. Just a second. Oops. Okay. It's like, okay, sorry. I couldn't reach that one button. Whatever you do, you can always preview before you commit. So this gives you statistics, simple statistics here, like this here. Very, very simple, nothing special. If you like it, you can save it. So now you have this saved. But let's do something else. Let's add, let's see, new data analysis. Okay, let's go to let's go to histogram here. Okay, histogram 1. And let's put x-axis. Let's have age of these passengers on the ship. Let's put this sex and maybe survive or not. And again, you can check here. Okay, do you like or not? Okay, yeah, it's good. Let's save it. And you can go back and tweak it. Now it's saved. So this kind of, you can interpret this. It looks like being a female was, of course, much better chance to survive. You know, we know that. And also it gives you information here. It's very basic graphics here now. So nothing fancy here. So it has some of the basic stuff here. So let's go back here, preparing here. Okay, so let's see. There's also something, let me see here, sorry, transfer analysis here. Here was that quick model. I'll come back to this quick model after data transformation here. So let's go now to this data transformation. You can see this okay now, this my screen. Hopefully.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so these are now transformations now. And there are a lot of stuff. This is very, very comprehensive. So you can do almost anything here you can think of in terms of data pre-processing. So you can actually do even, you can write Python. You can have your own transformation function here. You can write your own Python code, do some special transformation. If it's not here, you can write it. Custom formula. Then you can encode. This is often the case. So if you have a categorical variable, and you know computers like numbers, right? So you have to somehow make categorical variables. You have to turn them into numbers, and this like one-hot encoding is very, very common. So I use that a lot, one-hot encoding, and there are a lot of different configurations here. You can date time, you can do that. Text format, group, handle missing data. So do you impute that, fill missing, drop missing, add indicator missing? How do you have outliers here? How do you handle outliers, for example, here? Manage columns here, what do you do? Drop columns. Manage rows, sort by, order, and on and on and on. So I hope you get the picture here now that it's very thorough, very, very thorough. Pretty much everything you can think of, you can get it there. And remember now, whatever you do, Sagemaker is kind of recording what you do. It's kind of creating and it saves this script. You can later on, you don't have to go through the whole thing again. So let me do some simple data processing here now. Let's do maybe encoding here. Let's use hot encoding. Let's say that 6. Let's put this we use columns here. Let's preview it and add it here. So now we got this one here. So if we can here, you can see here now this simple example. Now, so instead of FM, now we got encoded here. So as you know, hard encoding, you turn the number of categorical values, you get the same number of columns, right? Of course, this goes against our rule that the less columns are better, but some of those algorithms, they can handle even lots of these columns. So this is one thing we can do. So I do just a few things here. Let me do here something called, let's see, manage columns. Let's drop some of this stuff that may not affect any, like name, obviously. It doesn't matter. Let's drop this one. Let's drop, what else wouldn't matter here for survival? Maybe some of the stuff is not relevant. So we can kind of, I guess, tick it. I guess that I don't think so matters for survival. So let's drop that one. Let's see. I guess passenger ID, that doesn't matter. So I'm doing very simple pre-processing. So you can see here, ID, let's drop that one. Okay, let's see what else we use. So cabin number, I don't think so that maybe matter too much. Let's drop this cabin number here, cabin, and so on. Okay, let's have one more. I'm not sure what this zip SP is, but let's get rid of it. Okay, so this way you can do, this is kind of, how could I say, feature engineering now, what we are doing. So we are kind of getting rid of some non-contributing factors. So when you do modeling, you have to drop everything that doesn't have impact on your output. So there's no correlation or relationship. Of course, another problem is that you might miss something that you don't have some inputs, but that's a completely different issue now. Okay, so now we did that. So let's go back to now here. And let's do the analysis. And this is, I really like this feature. I don't know how they even did it. So this is really great stuff now. So quick model. So let's say quick model 1. And okay, so survive. So this means that we want to find out now what factors contributed to survival chances. So let's see what happens. This is using something called random forest algorithm. So it's not deep learning now, but it's called random. It uses, you can do this for regression. It's use a random forest regressor method using MSE, so mean square error. And you can also use the classification. So let's say that, okay, so I guess this makes sense. So I guess we know from the tragic accident that this was a big factor, female, in terms of survival. So yeah, so it makes sense. But see the concept here now that once we are dropping columns, so we can right away see the impact. We don't have to spend 2 hours doing modeling and then at the end we find out, oh oops, my pre-processing wasn't sufficient, wrong, and then go back. So you can kind of, this is great feature, I think. Okay, so let me go back again here. Any questions?
Yes, we have 2 questions that we can take now. The first one is, and I will also like to hear what Shubhajit has for this also, because he is also a good implementer like you, Esa. The question is, what are the most usable libraries that you'll recommend for everyone to use? Python libraries.
Oh, Python. Oh, there are lots of them. Oh, again, some of the, of course, is you use NumPy a lot, you use Matplotlib a lot, you use Pandas. Pandas is very popular for data processing. That's usually always I use Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib. If you want to do some really fancy graphics, use Seaborn. And there's even other, even fancier graphics. So just look them up. And I mentioned yesterday that it's very interesting. You'll find out that there may be some very exotic science, and those people have written on libraries. I don't have any good examples now, but some very, very specific science that's maybe far from my expertise, they have their own library. So please do Google search and bring all the file. Of course, for deep learning, of course, the TensorFlow, Keras, of course, we talk about that a lot. So get all the libraries. The benefit is you don't have to write a lot of code. You put like, how could I say, some code around these libraries and you are ready to go. But before that, please look at this example notebooks first. So, and these example notebooks also show you what libraries they use.
Yeah, that's a good point. So basically, these fundamental libraries for these fundamental operations, which is data processing with Pandas and visualization using Seaborn or Matplotlib.
Correct. That's correct. And many more. I'm sure I'm missing some now, but I just got to quickly thinking. So I use those a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you. And another question is, can deep learning be used for machine lifetime prediction?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, usually if you formalize the problem, yes. Oh yeah. Usually, yeah, I think so. I haven't done it myself, but so you can do different. It doesn't matter so much what is the algorithm once you set it up, and obviously certain methods are more fitting for certain types of problems. So I'm not really expert on deep learning, so maybe you can answer better this question.
Yeah, thank you, Esa. So yeah, I can speak from my experience. I have been working in manufacturing, and machine lifetime prediction is one important element there. Deep learning can certainly be used, but before getting to deep learning, it is my strong recommendation that you try more traditional approaches, which are some statistical learning and machine learning.
Yeah.
Machine lifetime prediction is a very classic subject with significant amount of research done even before deep learning came, and they are really effective. So yeah, start from there.
Correct. So yeah, it's my understanding now that deep learning or these convolutional neural networks, they are especially good for image processing, and they have become famous because of it. So we saw yesterday, there was this one case, forgot now the name of the data set, but they're able to even surpass human performance. And I think this deep learning has really, in that area, manufacturing, yeah, as you said, there are some simpler methods also that work fine. So simple backprop, I use backprop quite a bit, so that's even enough. Yeah, you're right. Usually numerical stuff, it may be simpler if you use numbers. Once you get into this image, I'm not expert on image processing, but I think those require more advanced methods. Would this be the way to say it?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. All right, Asa, we are nearing the end of the session. So we have one more question, which is touching the ethics aspect of AI and these technology. So we can talk about it after you have concluded. So please continue.
Okay, yeah, I gotta. So autopilot here. So how much time do we have left now here?
We have entered the Q&A time, Esa.
Okay.
It's 10 o'clock. So
okay, let me go quickly. I'm sorry, I kind of been slow. This autopilot, I just want to quickly, a few more things here. Take a look at it. It's automatically, and what they did here earlier. So this is interesting because you don't have to do any coding. You just answer a few questions, ready to go, and it does everything for you. It does pre-processing, feature engineering, and it automatically picks even algorithm. It used to be linear learner or XGBoost, but now, just very recently, a year ago, even deep learning algorithm. But thing is, you cannot pick, it automatically picks one of these three. So let me, so again, okay, this is kind of the interface you can see here. So these few questions, and then you can go all the way, you can stop on the way. So, okay, let me see here. Okay, let me see. Okay. One thing I didn't get to was a jump start, but maybe that's your homework then for jump start. You can still hear me?
Yes, Esa, we can hear you.
Okay. Oh, let me, if that's okay, let me have just a few minutes. Can I show this jump start just very quickly?
Yes, absolutely, Esa. Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
Sorry, but I'm going slow here now. But
No
okay, this is a great stuff. So this jump start. Yesterday I promised to. These are fraud detections right here. So there are a lot of stuff here. Idea here is that these are like one-click solutions. These are pre-created models. So and they also are fine-tunable. So again, you can use it as it is, or you can add your own data and fine-tune it. So so there's a lot of solutions, text processing, image processing, vision models, and so on. Let me just show you one here. So this is a vision model here. Image processing, this one here. If you click this one, you will get this kind of thing. So this is a ready to go model. It has been created by AWS earlier, and you just click deploy and it deploys, and then you get this one I did earlier. Now you have a model ready to go, and if you open the endpoint, so it creates the notebook also for you. So now if you open the notebook, you get this kind of notebook here. So this is kind of ready to go. So again, so it's only one click. You got the model, you got the notebook ready to go. And you can also add your own data. I didn't do it, but you can fine tune it and then you can just run it. So remember yesterday we had this kind of automatic stuff here. Remember this one? This is kind of, yesterday we had this, remember Amazon recognition. That was ready to go. And I don't think so you can fine tune that one, but this one you can fine tune. Now, then you can also bring your own stuff here. Let's say, remember that C mouse here. Remember yesterday that computer mouse, that recognition had kind of hard time recognizing. How about, let's say how does this does? Okay, I put it C mouse. Let's see what happens. There we go, mouse. So this this visual model beat the recognition. It's pretty good. Here's a hawk. So you can bring your own pictures here and ready to go. So, okay, so again, I highly recommend it. Use these, scan these Jumpstart. Look at 17 different solutions. These are ready solution for your problem. So I have a few more comments now to end my presentation here. I think what I have learned now, I guess, from my career is that the most important is understand your customer problem. Spend enough time, make sure you really, really understand what he wants. And what happens often, it becomes evident he does not need machine learning. Most problems can be solved with much simpler techniques. Sometimes it happened, I have even argued with my customer. I said, yes, you do not need machine learning, but they don't understand machine learning. So they are kind of insisting, hey, I want a machine learning. I heard about this something. I said, okay, you don't need it, but if you want, I can turn it into machine learning. And of course, keep up with the latest technology, keep studying whatever the latest technology, and find the best solution. So AWS Sagemaker offers a lot of ready to go solutions that are ready to go. You can just tweak them, ready to go. So don't jump right away into coding, but spend enough time to find out if solution is out there already. And last one is communication is super important in workplace. You must be able to communicate to your peers, to your managers very clearly what you're doing, what are the benefits, and teamwork. Extremely important that you work in a team, cooperating with other people. So those are, I guess, my career advice. So a few advice what I guess I have learned. Okay.
Thank you so much, Esa. Thank you so much. So much to learn from here. One main thing that I took away from your these two sessions is that learn these tools because it will make you efficient. This also goes back to what Dr. David Hartke talked about in his session on Friday, that one learning from his professional experiences as well, that spend time on tools that will make you more efficient, like IDs and things like that. And this is one of them. I can see if I know all of this, my work will become so much faster. I can iterate so much quickly. Very important learning, very important element for all of us to take this and make use of it. Thank you so much, Esa. And the final summaries that you said, I was making a note of all of them, and I agree with you. Sometimes ML is not even the required solution. So we have to develop that level of intelligence to know when to use or when not to use technology. Esa, I will like you to stay for some more time here with us while we conclude the session and express our thank you to you and everybody.
Sure. Thank you. This was lots of fun and very interesting. Really, thank you for giving me a chance to talk about this technology.
Thank you. Thank you, Esa. All right, that brings us to the conclusion of our AI Workshop 2021. It has been an incredible journey for this past 1 week. I'm thankful to a lot of people here, but before I get there, I want to hear some of the experience from our participants as well. We have 2 volunteers from the participants who wanted to share their experiences. I will invite Professor Reni Jose. Professor Reni Jose is a professor at Mariana. Let me check the proper name before I say that. Yeah, Professor Reni Jose is from Marian College, Kutikanam, and she was with us throughout this workshop, and I would love to hear what she has to say. Reni, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
A warm greeting to all. As you are introduced, I am Reni Jose, from Kerala, one of the beautiful states in India. And this has been an absolutely amazing and enlightening workshop. I was not sure how the whole deep learning things work, but I got it started. This workshop enlightened me a lot. Now I know where I need to start and how I need to proceed with this. I totally enjoyed and learned a lot. The style and knowledge of the presenters was totally amazing. The workshop has been very inspiring, and I'm really feeling delighted to have been able to be a part of this and try to continue with this. Also, over the first 1 week, I haven't realized that good data scientists are predominantly generous people. Thank you, teachers, for sharing your knowledge and experience. And I'm taking this opportunity to thank AA Chefs and St. Claret College for organizing such a useful and valuable workshop. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Reni. It means a lot to us, everything that you just said and shared with us. Thank you.
Thank
I
you,
will
sir.
also like, thank you. I will also like to invite Florina Dutt, Dr. Florina Dutt. Florina is PhD from Georgia Tech. She is from Atlanta, and Florina, over to you.
Hi, Dr. Chitta. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my experience. So I think this data science workshop, I think made a big difference because it made data science accessible to a large group of audience, such as me and I'm sure other students, because most of the time I have been hearing about data science. It's a very fancy high-tech thing, but making it accessible to everyone, I think makes a lot of difference. And I could experience it as a participant and being here for some time, for a whole week. And I think that another thing I want to share is that in this workshop, I get to hear a lot of basics and advanced concept that has been explained so well by everyone. And every example was very insightful and very thoughtful example. And I would like to say that, you know, the different resources that I got from this workshop, such as, you know, the publicly available data sets and the different notebook links and so forth, they are going to help me personally develop my skills more. And I have in this field, I have been using data science for my research a little bit, but I think there is a lot of scope to improve myself by using these resources further. And I'm thrilled by all the examples and everything that you have given us, all of you have given us in this platform. And hopefully in future, through this workshop, I will be able to see more cross-disciplinary interaction and how people are using data science for their field, and it will be super exciting that way. So that's what I felt, and so much more.
Thank you so much, Dr. Florina. That yeah, it was humbling to hear everything you said. Thank you. And I want to express my thanks as well. But before, I also want to recognize that I forgot to ask one question raised by Professor N.M. Khandelwal about the importance of ethics in this new technology of AI. It's extremely important, and everybody in this community is working towards making sure that ethics are inbuilt in everything we're using, like removing biases and so on. So we are cognizant about it and putting all our effort to address it. With that, I will now talk about from where we came here to do this workshop. This workshop was a very bold vision. One of the most important things that we were thinking when we were ideating the idea of this workshop, AI Workshop 2021, was to have a curated workshop. And what is curated? Curated means we wanted to have the topics and content which complement and or supplement each other. The entire workshop was intentionally designed in a way it is. We had these workshops, the series of workshops starting with fundamental for beginners, then going deeper into a specific subject of image processing, and followed by how to do development with the past 2 day session we had with ESA. And after that, we had these keynote sessions to really try to impart some of our own experiences to help them succeed in the field of data science, like how to learn data science, how to succeed in data science. And all of these encompassed with the storytelling by successful people in the field of data science. We are extremely happy seeing our vision successfully coming to fruition, becoming a reality. And this success is definitely a result of 3 primary contributors. And I'm extremely thankful to them. These are the speakers, the organizers, and the participants. We had wonderful speakers, Esa Vilkama, who we heard today and yesterday, Dr. Shubhajit Das, Professor Pabitra Mitra, Dr. David Hartke, Ram Seshadri, Sydney Rectin, Dr. Ronald Minnick, Nitin Jan, and Dr. Asif Rana. All of them had such a delightful way of presenting their knowledge that we had such an exceptional time learning from them. The organizers, the St. Claret College, the team at St. Claret College was exceptional. This entire event happened so fluidly just because of them, everybody at St. Claret College. And my special thanks goes to Dr. Arijit Roy, professor at St. Claret College, who led the effort from the front. I also like to thank Father Reverend Dr. Thomas, principal of St. Claret College, for his strong belief and support for this entire event. Also, thanks to Professor Reni and Rudesh, again from St. Claret College, who have been extremely helpful with all their efforts. And for organizers and contributors from AI Chef like Bharti Malik for doing such a wonderful job at moderating and organizing this entire event. And most importantly, all of you participants. You are the one who make all of this worth it. A lot of days and nights work go behind doing any event, bringing it to here, putting it all together. And all of these effort becomes completely worth it when we see all of you turn up and spend this time with us. You could have spent this time over the past week to do anything else. There are so many other things to do, but you chose to be here with us. And I'm truly thankful to you for that. You made all of this so much worth it. Thank you so much. Thank you. And with this, I also want to ask Dr. Arijit Roy from St. Claret College to say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Chitta. Am I audible to you?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you for this amazing 7 days learning experience. And as I propose the vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing team of the workshop, I represent a group of dynamic men and women who have worked tirelessly over the last few months to ensure this event sees the light of the day. I'm deeply honored to be able to represent them at the closing moments of this incredible 7 days journey. History remembers mortals by not what and how much they know, but how they impact lives and help others grow. Over the last 7 days, we have witnessed some amazing ambassadors of knowledge share the wisdom with all the eager learners. I'm filled with gratitude as I extend a heartfelt thanks to all the speakers who enthralled us with their knowledge. The fact that some of them had to get up at 5 a.m. shows not only their passion for what they do, but also their humility, and that I believe makes them real heroes. I would like to thank Dr. Chitta and Ms. Bharti for coordinating the event so well and developing the content for this workshop along with a great line of speakers we witnessed every day since the 15th of this month. You both have been the backbone of this workshop. Thank you for all that both of you did for us. Life is often like a movie. We admire the actors whom we see in front of us, often overlooking the toil of those who are behind the screen. This event likewise would not have been possible without the great efforts of a few members, whom you perhaps never met, starting with Reverend Father Thomas, Principal St. Clair College. He is someone who epitomizes the desire to learn, inspiring us to strive for excellence and supporting us in all our endeavors. Our Vice Principal, Reverend Father Abraham, would daily motivate us with his insights and anecdotes that often kept us going during the cold, rainy evenings here in Bangalore. To the entire organizing team that helped in reaching out to the attendees, we had over 3,000 registrations across the globe, more than 1,500 views on YouTube and Zoom. This workshop is a success because of you all. Two names who have inspired me personally with their work ethics is Mr. Shinil and Mr. Sachin, two men who handled our platforms. They reached home late daily, often completely drenched in rain, ensuring all of us have a smooth, glitch-free learning experience. They represent the spirit of learning at St. Clair College, Bangalore. Last but not least, all our attendees. You have been such a big inspiration. To be with us over the last 7 days continuously is something we would never be able to thank you enough for. Your presence made us work hard. Your questions made us think and learn. And it has been an absolute delight to learn alongside you. We at St. Clair College wish each of you a bright future ahead, a future that is full of joy and learning and growth. Thank you for making this event a great success. We hope to see you all again for our next workshop and look for a similar cooperation from you all. Today, when the feedback link is shared, we would request you to kindly fill it up with accurate details, particularly the details regarding your name and email IDs, as that will be used for generating the certificates for this workshop. Once again, on behalf of the entire organizing team at St. Clair College, thank you all, and a huge thank to all the speakers. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Chitta.
Thank you so much, Dr. Roy. And with several heartfelt emotions, I will say goodbye to all of you, but I will tell you, this is not the end. This is the beginning of a journey. We'll meet again. We'll continue our learning, and I'll see you again. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah, the feedback link will be shared shortly. Just be online. Yeah. It will be shared in a minute.
Thank you. The feedback link is shared. It will also be shared on Telegram. And feel free to drop off now. We'll see you next time. Thank you.